Hello friends, welcome back again to the channel. I hope everyone is safe. In today's video, I would be talking about very important WFM interview question and answers in practical. So how we can find out service level, answer percentage, abandon percentage with the help of components what we have. I'll request you, if you like the video, please subscribe and share so that video can reach to maximum people who are trying to get into workforce management. So now let's start with the questions what I have included into this video. So you can see that on my screen, I have taken some numbers. I have taken calls offered, calls answered, and then call answered within threshold, average wait time to answer calls. So we will get to know that one by one how we can simply find out service level, answer percentage, abandon percentage, and all other metrics with the help of these components. So now let's get started. First of all, we have to understand that what is calls offered. So calls offered are actually the calls have been offered to the call center, which have been made by the customers to the call center. And the calls offered are 1000, call answered, total call answered, which have been answered by the agents. So that included all the calls that have been picked up by the agent. So 980 calls have been answered. Call answered within threshold. It means that how many calls have been answered within threshold. So threshold could be 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, depending on the agreement between company and the client. After that, we have average wait time to answer calls. To answer one call, what is the average wait time is being taken to answer the calls. So that would be considered into the average wait time to answer calls. And here we have taken 40 seconds. So first we have to calculate service level. In this video, I'll calculate service level with the help of two ways. So you can just get to know that how you can simply find out. First, we know that service level is call answered within threshold divided by calls offered. So the simple formula would be your call answered within threshold, which is 950 divided by calls offered, which is 1000. So here service level is 95%. So this is the first way to calculate the service level. Here you can see that if someone tells you that we also have the abandoned calls, which we will find out later on how we can just find out calls abandoned, and then I'll tell you the second way to calculate the service level. After that, we move on to how to find out the answer percentage. So answer percentage calculation would be here total calls answered, which we have here is 980 divided by total calls offered, which is 1000. So here 98% is the answer percentage. I hope that is clear. In case if you have any doubt, please mention in the comment section. Now we have to find out what is abandoned percentage. So all the calls which have not been answered and have got abandoned. So these will be considered into the abandoned. I'll calculate it once we have the calls abandoned data. So which we will find out at the end of this video. So after that we will find out service level calls. So in the first question we have found out what is service level. Here we have to find out how many calls have been answered within threshold or within service level. How we can do that? So the simple calculation here would be, we know that the service level is 95%, then multiplied by how many calls have been offered, which is 1000, press enter. So 950 calls have been answered within threshold. So here you can see that it is completely same call answered within threshold or service level calls. If someone asks you in the interview, they give you the service level percentage and the calls offered, and on the basis of that you have to find out how many calls have been answered within service level. So with the help of this you can find out the service level calls by multiplying service level to calls offered. So to find out the average speed of answer, so the simple formula would be your average wait time to answer calls, which is 40 seconds, divided by total calls answered, which is 980. Press enter, which would be 0. It means that all the calls are getting answered as soon as possible. So this would be the calculation of average speed of answer. So in this calculation, I have taken average wait time to answer calls, which is 40 seconds, and the total calls answered, which is 980. So here it's showing 0. When you have the high number of data, which you can find out what would be the average speed of answer. Now let's find out how we can calculate calls abandoned. Calls abandoned formula would be, or it means that how many calls have been abandoned out of total calls offered. So to find out here is calls offered is 1000 and call answered is 980. So total 20 calls have been abandoned. With the help of this formula, you can get to know 20 calls have been abandoned out of these 1000 calls. This can be asked in the interview. You will get the calls offered and call answered. And with the help of this formula, you can find out the number of calls have been abandoned. So now let's find out the second way to calculate the service level. So this was the first one to calculate the service level. And now let's find out with the help of another method. Now we have the calls abandoned also. So the second method would be your call answered within threshold, which is 950 divided by bracket open, then calls offered 1000 minus your abandoned calls, which could be short abandoned, bracket close, press enter, and then control shift percentage, so 97 percentage. With the help of second method, I hope you have understood all the questions which I have included into this video. I hope that is clear till now. Now we have to find out the abandoned percentage. So the abandoned percentage would be your calls abandoned divided by your total calls offered, and then this one, 0.02 percentage calls have been abandoned out of 1000 calls.
Today video I would be talking about the average handle time in a chat process, how we can calculate that. There is a difference between voice or the calling profile and chat process. In calling profile, agent can handle only one call at a time, but in chat profile, agent can handle 2 or 3 chats at the same time. So that we will be discussing today and all the doubts would be clear. So now let's start. I have put it down all the information here as an example. So these are the interval, chat start time, chat end time, and the chat AHT. Here, so the interval is 7 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. We have the chat start time 7 o'clock, then ended at 7:10. Second chat started at 7:30 and ended at 7:46. So here we are talking about one agent is handling only one chat. So the simple formula would be your chat end time minus chat start time. So this would be the AHT of one chat. Now we have to calculate the AHT of the agent who's handling 2 or 3 chats at the same time. So now this is the example here. Chat 1, chat 2, chat 3. I have put it down the chat start time, chat end time. Suppose agent picked up first chat at 7 o'clock and the chat end time was 7:10. Agent got another chat at 7:02. That chat ended at 7:08. Again, agent took the third chat that started at 7:05 and that ended at 7:15. So here simply what I have done, I have just got the chat time of one chat dot end time minus start time. So here I get the HT for the second chat, HT for the third chat. Now after we have to calculate the sum of these 3 chat, that would be your 26 minutes. If we want to calculate the AHT of all of these 3 chat, because the one agent was handling 3 chats at the same time, so the AHT would be your 26 minute divided by 3, because the agent was handling 3 chat. If the agent was handling 2 chats, so we would have to put it down 2. Or if the agent was handling 4 chats, so we have to put it down 4 chats. I hope that is clear. I have tried to explain that in a simple way. Thank you so much again for watching this video.